Peace. Welcome to Holistic Intuition, where we collectively explore health, raised consciousness, and overall holistic experiences such as self-love, cultural privilege, confidence, sex, friendships, oppressive systems, and much, much more, while encouraging you to be your best guide in this human experience through helping each other connect more deeply with ourselves.
Peace. Welcome to episode 11. If you have been here for a while, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new, thank you for taking the time to join us. This podcast is dedicated to everything holistic health, from food to oppressive systems to meditation. Anything and everything that embodies this human experience are things that I'm going to touch on. If you hear some rattling in the background, don't mind my cats. They're very energetic right now. And yeah, let's get into it. But before we get into it, you guys know, if you've been watching, that I normally light incense or candles before we start to set our intention for the episode. But I have something very exciting. I don't know if you'll be able to see it super well. She's a little dry. But I was talking about a while ago how I wanted to start making my own incense cones because I love burning incense like every day. And so this is my first batch I ever made, and it was really fun and exciting, honestly, even though it really was such a quick process. I know for next time I made them a little dry, but you really don't need that many ingredients. I used marshmallow root, clove powder, and then for the scent I had lavender and chamomile. What else? Water. I can't remember if there was anything else, but it was just really simple and fun. So if that's something that ever interests you, check it out online. But today's podcast is going to be on how to increase your overall fulfillment in life. Now, we all have uniqueness about us, and depending on what your passions and interests are, we're going to have different ways of growing our fulfillment. But these ways are really just commonalities and foundational practices. These practices guided me back to myself and connected me to my internal peace, which therefore, increased my overall fulfillment in life. And something to remember, this is if you're watching this podcast, if you're watching to anything, if you're reading anything, while it is great to take in other people's perspectives and experiences, we always need to remember that we are our own best guide, that not everything needs to be external, like, oh, I need to go read a book to know this. I need to do X, Y, Z. A lot of times it's really going inward. So these are really just things that have helped me. They might not be the best for you. So just keep that in mind, that we are our own best guide. So I'm going to be going through 5 different tips that when I embodied these, it completely changed my experience on a day-to-day, in a romantic way, in relationships, in everything. So, number 1, be present. So many of us are never fully present, and whether that means we're on a device, whether we're on a substance, whether we have trauma, which is disassociating us as a protective mechanism to not be present, whatever it is, food is a huge one. If you're eating certain foods, there's no way that you can be fully present because the chemicals that they put in it are deterring your brain from literally being in the moment. So there's a lot of factors as to why we may not be present. But when we're not fully present, we're not able to fully feel what that experience is giving to us. So it could be perceived as positive, negative, whatever it may be. But let's say, I'm in a group setting and I'm around people that make me feel comfortable and loved, and I feel excited. I feel in good spirits to be around these people. If I'm not fully here and maybe my mind is somewhere else, maybe my emotions are kind of all over the place or whatever it may be, I'm not able to fully feel all the goodness from that room. I may be able to feel some of it, but we usually aren't able to take in all that it's giving. And on top of it, when you're present, you're more able to recognize, okay, this isn't just about what am I getting, what am I giving, what am I reciprocating, am I authentically showing up? So it's not just about like, oh, is this fulfilling me? Is this fulfilling me? Am I fulfilling the experience? You know what I'm saying? So that takes me to my second point, which is emanate gratitude. If we're not fully present, it's much more difficult to stay in that high frequency emotion of gratitude. So gratitude is the precursor to every high frequency emotion, whether that's love, peace. Those things cannot come unless we are giving gratitude. Gratitude to me is like an offering to Source, saying I see you and I appreciate you. And Source, the creator, whatever spirit, whatever name feels conducive to you, is just like a person, okay? If you're telling a person, oh, I appreciate XYZ, that person is gonna feel that emotion that you're giving. Everyone likes to feel appreciated, you know? And Source is no different. Plants are living, your water is living, your foods are living. So whatever I'm doing in my day, I'm constantly giving gratitude. And a lot of people tend to only give thanks when it's perceived as a big thing. Like, oh, I got a lump sum of money, or I'm going on a vacation, or these bigger type experiences. Every day I rise, before I go on my phone, I give thanks that I rose in a healthy, functioning body free of pain, that the sun is shining on me, that I have access to beautiful herbs, to clean water. You know, it can be very, very, to most people, mundane things. But to me, these are blessings that are constantly coming at me every second. Another way I give gratitude is when I'm doing my movements or workouts. You know, a lot of times we look at movement as a chore, like, oh, I have to go to the gym and do this leg workout. And, you know, I've changed the way I've talked about this before on previous episodes, but I've changed the way that I look at my movements now, and even what kind of movements I do. But in the moment is when it's most important to me. So in the moment, when I'm in the middle of a set and my legs are fucking burning, instead of being like, oh my God, this is hard, just push. No, I'm done with that. I'm saying, thank you, body, for supporting me right now. Thank you, cells, for taking in my oxygen and creating strong muscles. Thank you for this blood that is able to flow. You know, so it's like, it's not just outwardly that I'm giving gratitude, I'm also giving it to myself. And whatever you do, when you add in that component of gratitude, it completely elevates your perspective. And that can be for things that are difficult, that can be for things that you enjoy. Whenever you bring in gratitude, it completely changes it. So even if it's something that might not be the most fun, like for example, I'm working on it, but I really don't like doing dishes. I don't have a dishwasher and I just don't like doing the dishes. But I'm changing my perspective to be, instead of I don't like it, I'm blessed that I have these moments to fulfill these mundane tasks. I'm blessed that I even have food to cook on these dishes with. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed that I was able to share a meal with my partner in a warm, safe environment. And that's just something that you could say for things that you don't like, or that you're trying to change your perspective on. I'm trying to get away from I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I totally forgot to set our intention and light the incense. I got so distracted talking about how I was making it. But if you need to set your intention, pause the video now and set an intention as you listen and enjoy my incense cone. Okay, let's get going. So, number 3 is to listen to your internal guidance system. So that term can mean different things. It can be called by different names. So we could call it our intuition. We could call it our internal guidance system. We could say source is speaking through us. And it comes in many forms. So it can be thoughts that pop up. It can be feelings that arise. It can be voices. It can be synchronicities. It can come in so many different forms. But when we listen to these internal guidances, we are able to tap into our higher self. And when we abide by those guidances, we are honoring our being. We are listening to those higher voices, and we are not suppressing it. We're not pushing it away. So let's just give an example. Let's say you're hanging around someone, and during the interaction, or maybe after the interaction, you feel drained, you don't really feel fulfilled, maybe you feel this boredom, maybe you feel sad. It can come in a lot of different emotions. Your body, your spirit, is attempting to communicate with you through those energies that they're sending you, because like I always say, emotions are just energy in motion. So your spirit is trying to tell you, look bro, I don't really fuck with this. I don't really like this energy. This person isn't really doing it for me. Now if I deliberately ignore that and continue hanging out with that person, I am deliberately dishonoring my spirit. And why am I doing that? Because you hear these types of things all the time. Oh, I just hate this job. Oh, my relationship is like this. Oh, my friend is like this. And I'm just like, okay, so why are you staying? If you're staying in a situation long term that doesn't feed you, that's feeding you really in a negative way, you have to go to the root and say, why am I choosing to stay? Is it low self-esteem? Is it negative thought patterns that I have maybe about this particular experience? So maybe you've told yourself your whole life that, well, jobs are just not that fun and it's just a way to make money and I just have to suck it up and just go to work. So you're already expecting that this job isn't going to fulfill you. So you've already put those thought patterns in your mind. Maybe you have negative thought patterns about men. So when you go hang out with that low vibrational guy, you're not even surprised. You're just like, well, that's just how men are. So it's whatever, he'll do. No. Why are you thinking so complacent? Okay? We need to always be fulfilling our deepest desires. And we all desire to have a life full of fulfillment, of enjoyment. So these are just some little examples that maybe we can resonate together with. But basically what I'm getting at is that we're never alone. Our internal guidance system is always within us. It's always trying to serve us, to help us, to love us. And if we don't listen and honor it, it starts to feel farther and farther away. But the more we listen to it, it gets so clear. It's like crystal clear. There's no confusion. There's no, well, should I be doing this? Or, well, should I hang out with this person? Or, well, should I go to this job? No, it's like, you know what? That's not aligned with me. I need to move on. Period. And another way I like to think about it is that these internal guidances are like a person. If you were talking one-on-one with someone and you felt very listened to, you felt very heard, that's going to make you want to open up more. It's the same way with our guidances. If they feel like we're listening to them, they're going to start to open up more. They're just going to try to communicate with us more. Because they're like, oh, okay, they're actually listening. They're actually doing what they need to do. Okay, well then I'm going to say a little thing here or there. I'm going to sprinkle this in. Okay, that takes me to point number 4, which is follow your passions. When we become complacent, we are literally telling our spirit that we are low value. Or else why would we continue to stay? That can be in anything in life, a job, school, a relationship, a friendship, having low discipline in ourselves in situations. Sometimes we just need to simplify to really understand. So let's just think of ourselves as more complex plants. So in addition to sun, water, nutrients, there are essential acts of care that we require as a part of this experience. Passion, creation, anything that you do with a lack of passion will only take you to a certain level, because passion drives purpose. And we all came here with a specific purpose. If we don't explore, if we don't try to find our passions and nurture them, we end up feeling dull. We feel purposeless. And that's not a high vibrating emotion. So we really need to collectively reject mediocrity. We need to stop allowing it to be normal, because we really see it everywhere. We see it like, shit, I see it every time I talk to people. I can see it on their own spirit. Oh, do you like what you're doing with a job? Oh, yeah, it's fine. You know, this, that. Oh, how's, for people that are in school, how do you like your classes? Or, oh, it's okay. It's just a lot. It's stressful. It's like all these things that people are trying to make it feel like it's okay, but they know they don't feel good when they do it. And there's a difference between something taking discipline and longevity versus doing something that you don't like. You know what I'm saying? So if you're building a business, it's not meant to just be easy 24/7. It's going to take discipline, you know, but there's a major difference between something taking discipline and longevity and persistence versus stress, versus this feels hard all the time, versus I don't even like this shit. I don't even enjoy it. I don't enjoy the people I'm around. I don't enjoy the actual activity that I'm doing on a day-to-day. So reject mediocrity. You are an abundant divine being, and our being needs to be doing things that make us feel uplifted. Let's go to our last point. Point number 5, which is look for the lesson. In every situation, we have the choice if we want to see stress or need a change, hardship or a lesson that your being was desiring to learn and embody. Many times we repress the lesson because it doesn't fit our ego story of us. So, for example, let's just say I need to improve my discipline in area X. Well, if my ego is so rigid and stuck and is telling myself, well, you've already worked enough on discipline on Y and Z, it's not even allowing me to fully embody what needed to be learned over here with my discipline. So when you release these identities of yourself, when you release these stories that make us feel comfortable, which keep us complacent, it allows you to expand your comfort. Because you know that saying like, oh, you need to go outside your comfort zone. I don't really agree with that. I don't think you should go outside of your comfort zone. I think you should expand your comfort zone so that anything you do feels comfortable. It might not, you might still have butterflies, you might still have emotions come up the first time you do something because it's new, But why are you doing things that aren't comfortable? But at the same time, why aren't you expanding your comfort level? Why aren't you expanding, oh, I need to try this. I need to go here. I need to be with this person. Open it up so that we can fully experience this life. If we're constantly limiting ourselves, but we're simultaneously trying to invite abundance in, or it's already in us, but if we're trying to connect with the abundance within, that doesn't really make sense. So just flow into the lesson. Everything is perception, right? So did you do something quote unquote bad, or were you being taught how to do something better? Every single thing is perception. So I'll give you my own example that came up just now. Is a while ago, I was looking for ways that I could create financial freedom and abundance and be my own boss and, things of that nature. So I got into wholesaling real estate. And while I learned a lot, it wasn't something that I really enjoyed at all. I didn't enjoy a majority of the people in it. I didn't enjoy the energy that came with it, the colonization that came with it. And I could have said to myself, oh damn, well, I spent money on this and I spent time on this and I didn't get my desired outcome. Or I can shift my perspective and say, okay, what was the lesson? Well, shit, I learned so many lessons from wholesaling. I learned patience. I learned deeper assertiveness. I learned about actual real estate. I learned how to communicate on the phone with people that were just straight up rude, but in a business type way. That's very different. Like, I know how to handle myself in a regular day-to-day interaction. If someone's being rude or if someone doesn't know how to speak to me properly, I know how to be assertive and handle it. But you have to handle things differently when you're in business. So I had to learn how to be like, okay, I need to take this part, maybe change up some vocabulary, whatever it may be, and now I know how to proceed. Or maybe this person was just trying to bully me to get the price down, and now I know how to handle it and maneuver the conversation this way. So I learned so much from wholesaling. Is it something I want to do? Is it something I have a passion for? Not at all. But if I never went through the journey and didn't perceive it as bad and really a success because it helped me grow in myself, then it would have been very easy to say, oh, well, I just wasn't successful at it and I lost money and this, that, and the third. None of those things are thought patterns that I tell to myself. I didn't lose money because money is flowing constantly. It doesn't just leave, it goes and it comes back. It goes and it comes back. You know what I'm saying? I didn't lose time because time is an illusion, number one, and the ways that I spent my time were connecting me more with myself. You know what I'm saying? So when you look for the lesson, and I also think that kind of takes me back to point number one, point number two, which is emanate gratitude. When you combine looking for the lesson and how you can learn from this experience with gratitude, your whole experience will change. Your whole perspective will change because nothing anymore is perceived as a bad thing. Nothing is negative. It was what I needed in my journey to propel me forward. All right, y'all. Well, that concludes episode 11. If you feel called to, I would definitely appreciate a like, a subscribe, turn on my notifications. All these things help the channel grow. I really just dislike that I even have to say this type of shit because I just wish everything could be more authentic, period, and we didn't even have to use social media and all that, but that's what it is, so I just gotta flow with it. But all these things really do help the channel grow and eventually will help me get monetized. So you are really helping me get to the path of where I can solely focus on my creations while being financially abundant and fed in this way. So for anyone that has supported in the past, anyone that has purchased the ebook, I appreciate it greatly, and you really are reciprocating back to me all the love and intention that I feed into these creations. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.